di da da di da di da 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 in da da di da di da da in da da in da di da di da da I da in da di da di da da I da 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 ba bum bum. Oh, okay. We are. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Is there such thing as idolatrous butter? So we're learning the laws, everything I always wanted to know about Pas Akum, Bishul Akum, Chalav Yisrael, Bishul Yisrael, Gvina Yisrael, Chema Yisrael, Chaim, Baruch atah, Chapter 38 of the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. We're on paragraph 15. Excuse me. Got to give up those cigars.
Rob smokes cigars?
No, I'm just joking. I don't.
Oh, Baruch Hashem. Yeah, the Rab had all of us over there for a minute. I'm picturing the whole scene. Very Hasidic.
I'm. If they just weren't dangerous, they smell great. Oh. Once a year, I usually do it once a year on Purim. They're filming a movie on our street for the last couple of weeks. It's a very LA experience. And you think, like, I mean, my street, it's really, it's not going to win any awards, but they're making a remake of a movie I never saw. It's called, I'm looking out the window because I just see all the people from the movie, all the staff, that just so many people, trucks and so much stuff. It's called White Men Can't Jump, the remake.
That's not a very that feels like a movie that should stay where it was.
Yeah, we all think the same thing. But I had one insight. This totally has nothing to do with our Torah we're learning today, but it has to do with Torah. Lahavdil. You know, it's very hard to understand malachim, the concept of malachim, because right, malachim are, we translate as angels, but malachim, it's Hebrew, malachim are spiritual beings who play a role in the world, who we generally can't see. Sometimes they inhabit a physical form, right? Like we see the story in Avram and Sarah and others, right? So they can appear as people to create certain, have certain impact. But what's amazing, again, lahavdil, right? When I see the dozens and dozens of people and trucks and vehicles and specialized equipment and everything which goes on to make a movie. So one of my thoughts was, it's a little bit of an insight, maybe, into how Hashem runs the world with angels. Because when you watch the movie, you don't see anything, or you don't see these people. You just see the movie. You don't see the dozens and dozens of people, and of course then the editors and the sound engineers and the color technicians, and I mean, there's it's amazing, right? So maybe it can help us understand our universe a little bit better. Right? There's a guy walking back and forth. They go back and forth with their radios and their shtick and everything. Okay.
It's a good lesson for us on how to maybe see these everyday events, right? Like not just this particular muscle, but
the Baal, it says in Pirkei Avos, right? Ezehu Chacham. We learned it not this chapter 3. Pirkei Avos, Ezu Chacham, Halomen Mikola, right? Somebody who learns from everybody. So normally you think that the traditional way, the shot way of Lomed Mikol Adam is that person taught me, I don't know, how to bake, zucchini bread. I didn't know how to before. Now I do. Oh, I learned something from everybody, right? So you got to have respect for everybody. But the Baal Shem Tov and a Hasidic approach to it is on a next level, right? Is you learn from people, not just, it's not like knowledge that people are always imparting. You have knowledge about the universe from observing how the world works. And with that, we will speak about butter. Now, just to remind ourselves that we said a Baal Nefesh, a person who wants to be strict on themselves, is only going to have milk, which is Chalav Yisrael, and only have cheese made from Chalav Yisrael, that is milk that was supervised by a Jew during its process. Now, in modern times, I didn't mention this yesterday in the last class. In modern times, you don't milk into a bucket. It's all done with machines. So I believe, it works a little bit differently. So, the person, you're milking dozens of cows at a time with machines and so forth. I believe as long as all of the animals in the pre-milk reception area, it's not what it's called, but are cows, you're good. There's no way to watch each separate cow. That would be impossible. But you're there at the time of milking. That's what's going to count today. Okay, but now what about butter? Butter's made from cheese. Wouldn't one think it should have the same laws? No, it's a little bit different for butter. We'll explain why. The law of butter depends on the custom of the communities in various places. There are places where they do not eat butter prepared by a non-Jew. And because they're afraid that even butter could have some foreign milk substance. There are places they're more lenient, they eat it. And we'll go into more details. Let's say you go from one place where they don't eat butter to a place where they do eat butter. Even if you tend to return to that original place, you can eat butter with them with their local custom. Okay, so the reason why it could be that you can have butter, which is from an unsupervised milking, is because butter does not form when non-kosher milk is used, according to the Taz and the Shach. So therefore, the person producing butter is going to be very careful to only put kosher animal butter and kosher animal milk, to make the butter. And now, so that's the Pri Chadash, the Shach, the Taz. So since there's no chance, you can't make butter from pig milk, for example. So you know that the butter is 100% cow milk. And remember, the whole idea of prohibiting Chalav Yisrael on a kashrus level has to do with the potential introduction of non-kosher milk, even if it were to be batel. But it doesn't answer the issue of the potential spiritual harm. If there's any spiritual harm for having there's no chance, according to these scholars, for there to be anything else in there but milk from a cow, from a kosher species. But let's say you bought non-Chalav Yisrael milk, okay? So you can't then take that and then say, now I'm going to go make butter from it, which will be, right? If you keep Chalav Yisrael, then that won't work, because once you use the non-Chalav Yisrael milk, it's non-Chalav Yisrael. So you have to buy it already made into butter. And this whole place about going from place to place in different customs, the notes in my Kitzur Shulchan Aruch say that this going from one place where they eat the butter of non-Jews to a place where they don't eat the butter of non-Jews is not referring to the two different customs mentioned early in the Sefer, the prohibition against the butter of a non-Jew, because he says in that case, whenever you travel from one place to another place temporarily, you're supposed to keep the more stringent custom. So what's it referring to? Rather, the halacha is referring to a place that follows a more lenient custom about the primary question of butter, but where they nevertheless refrain from eating it out of concern for a local problem. Like maybe there's not a lot of milk producing animals in that place. So because of this, the Jews did not eat butter made by the non-Jews, even though they didn't hold according to this. In other words, they only held that way because of specific issues with the place where they are, but not because of the halacha to not eat it, that opinion. So if you go from that place to a place where there's no concern, i.e. they have lots of cows, Wisconsin, so then he can eat the butter from the place. And the specific issue of your hometown is not an issue, right? So I'll just repeat that one more time. And this doesn't come up. This is totally shma, right? If you're from a town where the Rabbanim Paskin, they say that you can have any butter, it's not a problem. But in our town, we have a specific issue because we actually don't have milk producing animals in our town very much. And we're worried that any butter that's in our town that's made locally might have a problem. So we're going to be strict. But when we go to next door to Wisconsin, everything's okay. You can have the non-Jewish butter, right? So he's not referring to a case where people are in one town, they're lenient, in one town, they're strict. And the people from the strict town are going to go to the town of the lenient town. And now they can just, have a party. That's not what this is explaining. And we continue a little bit more on this. Right? If you go from a place where they eat it to a place where they don't eat it, you're not supposed to eat it there. Again, it's the same issue. Of late, he says, Nishma k'shemezayfin es hachema b'shuman chazir. It was heard that they substitute what they're selling as butter. They fatten up with lard. Al kain shomer nafshay yirchek, a person who's very shomer nafshay, right? A person who's very cautious with their soul would distance themselves. Now, I never heard of such a thing now. And personally, when I travel, I am lenient on the butter because of these halachas, because there's absolutely no reason to, in my opinion, to be concerned about butter. The question is, if you can even find, in other words, while I keep strict Chalav Yisrael, we won't have we only make sure to have, as long as it's kosher butter, right? And then if you go to the EU, if you go to Europe, there's very strict regulations on butter. And I haven't really traveled anywhere beyond that as of late. So that's my own personal custom. And it came up specifically when we were, so, butter, there's different kinds of butter. America, we're very butter poor, but in Europe, they have some different styles of butter. And so for the thing that is one of my favorite things of all time is the unsalted high cream butter in Poland on matzah. I could live on that. That was so good. All right. Anybody have any questions, by the way, on our topic today, or on any of the issues regarding this last sif?
I have to share the URL in an email with the Rav because it's a little complex. But the question that I worry about, I'll try to be the fixer here, and then maybe it's a follow-up, is handling the displaced bomasum, referred to as DA. Maybe the Rav has heard of this. It's a little obscure topic. There's some static. I apologize if it's on my side.
No, it's on my side.
The concern is that the surgeries they do on the cows, for sure the non-Jewish milk that's OU certified might have this problem, and there are halachic response about it, but I don't really understand the situation.
What they're doing something to the animals?
Yes, they perform a surgery on the animals, and it maybe makes them a treifa. And so, yeah, I'll send the Rav this essay. It's a very obscure thing, but I think people should become more aware of it. So maybe it starts with me and with the Rav.
Well, again, the question is, we have to look into it. It's a kashrus issue. The Chalav Yisrael issue. So if they, as long as the animal, but have had a surgery. No, you're right. It could be an issue. We have to look into it.
It's not an issue, but they're relying that it's less than 50%. But that makes me uncomfortable. I don't think the general public realizes that they're relying on the total amount of treif milk being less than 50%. So I don't know if Chalav Yisrael solves for this. That's the question I have, is whether Chalav Yisrael in general handles this.
Don't know. I don't know. We'll have to look into this matter. I don't know.
I'll send the email within the next 10 minutes so the Rav can read up. It's for sure obscure, but it's bothered me for a little while, and I don't really have the expertise to understand it really. So I'm grateful that the Rav has brought up the opportunity to bring in a Shaila.
Yes, I have a couple I'm working on right now. I'm getting some. Baruch Hashem. That's what I live for.
It's a good Shaila, I think. I'll go to my laptop now so the Rav can
Alyssa, we're all going to become vegans in a moment.
Well, it's very beautiful, I think, to have the truly kosher milk. It's just a question on I know that Bethel Dairy here in New York is very careful on these things, but it's a little hard to get the Bethel Dairy. The Rav is vegetarian, is that right?
I am not ideologically, but in practice, yes, I'm not eating meat.
Well, it's not my intention to make everyone vegan, but maybe switch to some nut milk.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm a bad example. I don't even eat milk products because of I just have butter. That's my big. I'll have butter on my matzah, but I don't. I'm lactose intolerant, and now I'm off all meat because of cholesterol, but I love fish.
That's where the tzaddikim are. So,
all right, everybody have a great day, and I apologize. We're going to tomorrow morning. I have to skip. I have to go do an Eruv project in San Diego County, but please God, we'll all be back together Thursday with a new chapter, number 39.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Yonah, and I have this email going up now. I appreciate the help to understand.
Doug, you have a question?
No.
Doug has a question. One sec. Yes?
So regarding the Pirkei Avot, where you have to learn from everybody?
Yes.
I just had somebody extremely aggressively, who's very knowledgeable in Torah. I'm not going to say anything else about him. I guess I'm saying he's a man, threw in my face that Pirkei Avot to try to convince me to watch 2,000 Mules or 200 Mules, whatever that crazy Dinesh D'Souza movie is. I said, I refuse. And he's like,
I don't
you're
even
supposed to
know.
be learning from everybody. He went nuts on me.
You're not, it doesn't, the loimen mikol adam doesn't mean you go out of your way to expose yourself to every opinion that's out there in the world. That's not what it means. It means that a person who thinks that they can't learn something from somebody might be mistaken. But you don't have an obligation to go out of your way to listen to so-and-so's whatever, because you're supposed to learn from every person. That's not how it works. Like, I'm sure the Hezbollah guys give great speeches, but I don't have to go out of my way to listen to Hezbollah, translated speeches, right? So that's
Right.
they're misunderstanding what Pirkei Avos is saying.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry to use an extreme example, but basically what they're saying is an extreme.
Absolutely. No, I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm sure Louis Farrakhan, Yimach Shmo, has some good jokes, but we don't need to go listen to him.
Right.
And with that,
Thank you.
have a great day.
Shalom Aleichem.